Welcome to the spiral. So if you're watching this video, you've probably done level 1, either with me or with one of the many practitioners. And before I get into the ins and outs of it and the themes and what it means and what you should do to get the most out of it, I just want to recognize you for stepping into this work. I know you might have had to face fear or cynicism or get funds together, or some other challenge may have come up for you to get into this work, and that's really part of how it goes. So if you've made it this far, good on you, well done. And I'm making these videos to help you get the most out of this work. So the spiral is split into 7 levels, as you probably know by now, and you've just gone through the first one. Each level has a theme, which is really an attempt to sum up a lot of the things that can go on at this level, even though there's a lot of different things can happen for different people. The theme for level 1 is deservedness, and that really means being able to receive, being able to feel worthy, knowing that you are good enough on an embodied level. You deserve to be paid well, you deserve to be loved, you deserve to eat well and be physically looked after. You're a child of this planet, of this physical earth, and you deserve things. In the chakra system, level 1 relates to the root chakra. So Muladhara is the nourishing root, the part of us that draws nourishment from the earth, the part of us that stabilizes us, and the part of us that makes us physically strong and able to withstand the density of life on earth is one of the ways I interpret this. It relates strongly to the earth element working at this level, and we see that really turn up in a lot of different ways. One of the things that can happen with this level is that there can be physical change. So hips, knees, feet are all affected at this level, but also the inner parts of the body are the large intestines and the bowels, and the excretion system relates to this. Literally letting go of your shit can be part of this process, and that can physically happen for some people, that they get shits, literally. We're dealing with deep unconscious stuff, particularly in the first couple of levels, so it's not unusual for nothing or for very subtle things to happen. Meaning you may not have had some peak experience or some strong sense of anything changing, and that's perfectly okay. We're not really looking for that, and we're not expecting that to happen just yet. The best approach we can have is to recognize that you're now in day 1 or day 2 of a 49-day process. So things are just starting to move, and the lower levels particularly are the slowest levels for anything really to happen. The other aspect that is important to understand a little bit about as well is the chakra system. So the root chakra is one thing you can look up, you can read about. The other part is the study called spiral dynamics has been a big influence on this work, hence the name The Spiral. And spiral dynamics level 1 really relates to survival. This is, again, your right to be here on planet Earth and your ability to fend for yourself. So all of us as adults, we've managed to survive, but we may not have 100% fully developed set of survival skills. Like, could you fend for yourself in the woods if you had to? Can you cook well? Do you look after your physical body well? How are your physical surroundings? Is your house messy? Is your car messy? Do you take care of the physical? There's kind of a crossover between the chakras and the spiral dynamics, but survival is literally about, have I got my basic needs met? So when we clear this stuff, interesting things can happen, and we may not relate them to the work we've just started doing. The first 2 things to remember are what I just named: the chakra system, level 1, root chakra, and spiral dynamics, level 1, survival. They're 2 big themes that are worth reading about, feeling into, thinking about. A little on the emotions. Essentially, spiral is a collection of root clears, and you've just experienced 3 root clears. You have root cleared shame, you've root cleared guilt, and you've root cleared dogma. So vibrationally speaking, these emotions are very heavy. Shame is something that weighs us down. It suppresses other emotions. It's hard to do anything if you feel deep shame. It's hard to feel anything else if you feel deep shame. So shame, as I have come to understand it, is a deeply embodied sense of unworthiness, and it's a sense of disconnection as well. So when we unpack your shame, that's going to now start leaving the body, and what's going to happen typically is an increasing sense of lightness and an increasing sense of worth is going to sort of trickle into your life gradually. The second emotion we cleared was guilt. Now, guilt is a little more cognitive than shame. It's the process of beating ourselves up, of feeling bad because we've broken a rule or we have contravened a value system that we hold. It doesn't really matter if that's our own value system or one that's been imposed upon us by our religion, by our family, by our culture. Either way, when we feel guilty, we feel bad that we've broken a rule. Now, what tends to happen as the guilt stuff breaks down is you may start looking at various rules and various ways that you operate in a different way. If you've always done a certain behavior out of feeling guilty or to protect yourself from feeling guilty, that behavior might look or feel differently. So let's say you deliberately are over-giving to certain people in your life because you deep down feel like they could guilt trip you for not doing what they want. You might start re-examining that relationship. Or maybe something weird, like for me, I'd always paid my bills on time, and after I cleared guilt, I started letting my bills ride out a lot longer, and at first it seemed like a dysfunctional pattern. But what had happened was this strong away from driver that I must never feel guilty started to fall apart. And what happened is over the weeks and months afterwards, I began to rebuild myself in a more towards motivated fashion. So rather than being, well, I have to do this because someone will judge me for it, I began feeling into what do I want to do? What do I want? What pulls me forwards to where I'm heading? So guilt, the rule book, is starting to fall apart, and your feelings around it are starting to shift. So gradually these two levels contribute to you becoming a more worthy and a more self-directed human being over time. The final emotion, which is not typically regarded as an emotion by most, I guess, psychology or most of the way we think about emotions, is dogma. Now, dogma is the energy of rigidness. It's the energy that prevents us from changing and prevents us from opening to new world views. It's almost like the protection mechanism around our beliefs that keeps them unchanging. So it's the thing that keeps us stuck. And we have dogmas that are cultural, that have come from our ancestry. We have dogmas that have come from our family. And we have dogma that has come from our own worldview. So if people, I always use this example, it's horrible, I don't mean anything bad to these people, but let's say I was bullied by a kid with ginger hair when I was 5 and he used to hit me every day. I may well form a narrative that ginger-haired people are violent or mean, are bullies. That can become a dogma to the point where it's such a strong belief that I just believe it, and I just filter for evidence that that's true, and I constantly, maybe I get a new job and the boss has ginger hair and he starts picking on me. Because I hold this worldview so tight, I will find evidence and I'll make it happen again and again and again. When we clear dogma, our ability to start seeing that a lot of what we believe is bullshit, is fabricated, starts to increase. And our ability to recognize a lot of culture and a lot of the rules around us they don't make any sense, and they're not the only way of looking at things. So as we shift dogma, we become less of a fundamentalist, less of a this is right, this is wrong, and more open to forming new beliefs and letting go of old ones. So that's the little stack we just worked through. Shame, guilt, dogma. You may not feel anything right now, and that's totally fine. What I challenge you to do is to start looking for evidence and start testing your relationship to these energies. So I would ask you, what is something that you've always wanted to do but you never felt worthy of? Go dig in your heart, journal every day, and get deep into what do I want to do that I just thought I can't do that, I'm not good enough. Start going into those areas that you've walled off and feeling into, actually I could do that. Actually I've always wanted to do this, fucking I'm going to do it. Another area that can give you just a light feeling of this process moving is go clean out an area of your life that is messy. So clean the crap out of your car, throw out all the crap out of your wallet or your purse, clean out your bathroom, go to an area that you've allowed to become a physical representation of dirtiness or disorder and sort it out, and just use that as a metaphor for you're beginning this process of letting go of your crap. That can be really helpful. And the other thing is it's important to start journaling right now. Like my recommendation is every day. If you've ever read the book The Artist's Way, the morning pages process that is described in that book is really beneficial alongside the spiral journey. If you'll write, I do 1,000 words most mornings, and it's just allows me to unpack and let go of all the stuff beneath the surface, and just shows me there's a lot of process going on, there's a lot of unconscious stuff that I may not be in touch with yet. So that's my recommendation, is start journaling, clean out an area of your life, and really start looking at your relationship to worth. What would you be? What would you do? What would you have if you knew you were good enough? Okay, I'll see you on the next one of these. And please, wherever you are doing this, please share this in the Spiral community group. Please stay in touch with the practitioner who's taking you through this and share the experiences you're having, because there'll be things taking place in your life right now that you may not associate with this work. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.